Yo, what is up YouTube? I'm Royal and today we're watching the top 1 Vi in the world. This guy's the top 1 Vi in China, he's challenger of course, making him probably the top 1 Vi in the world. So with the recent buffs that Vi is getting, I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to showcase how the top 1 Vi plays if you want to copy his playstyle and take some free LP with Vi. So from what I've seen of his stream, I haven't seen too many games, but he's a very aggressive Vi player. He goes for a lot of damage and he builds, doesn't really build tank or even bruiser, he just goes for a lot of damage. He farms a lot, he ganks a lot, he fights a lot. So he's gonna do a red buff into Raptor's Clear, not taking the Krugs. But he will continue with Wolves, maybe blue buff and then Scuttle, I would imagine. We do see the enemy jungler on the top in Raptors. Aatrox jungle, of course, one of the power picks of the last couple patches. Spot lane is losing early. They're going to be able to pick up Lulu. Of course, he's using AoE to maximize his damage and his efficiency while clearing camps and kiting them to the edge. Of course, this is what you want to be doing. Every jungle game that we review, we've been over this. He gets the first ability on Thresh, but they get the Vayne. He's able to get the Thresh and get out. This isn't a great trade because Vayne went down, so I'm not going to be able to farm that wave. He'll go for the Skull. But of course, he's getting himself a lead, and that's what's important. He's going to be looking for the Trinity Force first item. A lot of Vi players go for more of a tanky build, but he's gonna go Trinity Force first. Gonna pick up the Phage and the Sheen early on. It's gonna help with his burst. I've seen him go Youmu's a lot of times. I've seen him go Blade of the Ruined King quite a bit, which is kind of uncommon on Vi. You don't think of her much of an attack speed champion? Wukong is kind of struggling against Garen here. It is a favorable matchup for the Garen. Wukong gets his level 5. Barely survives the sliver of health. And they're able to take down the Garen. Good gank. And Aatrox is overextending a bit. He's only level 4. He hasn't hit 5 yet. But he decides against it. He's going to go back to farming his jungle. Going to go to the Raptors. Get red buff next. When you want to go for a first item that's pretty expensive, like the Trinity Force, you want to make sure you're staying ahead so you get your first item before the objective spawn. Because if you fall behind even a little bit, you might not be able to afford your first item before the objective spawn. It's going to clear out the vision and go back to his red buff. They do have a very strong composition in the late game. They have Wukong ulti, Vex has a lot of CC and anti-dive, which is going to be crucial versus the Diana. And Vayne and Lulu, of course, monsters in the late game, even though they're getting destroyed in the early game by the Thresh and the Jhin. But this is to be expected. He continues with his full clear. It's actually immediately, when he sees Aatrox ganking mid, he immediately repaths and goes for the mid lane to see if he can get a counter gank off. So the Vex does go down, but he's able to follow up and get the kill on the Diana. The Wukong is also there. Aatrox is gonna flash to safety, and he can already afford his Trinity Force. He's gonna keep clearing, get a couple more camps. He can afford Trinity Force and boots or something else. On his recommended, you can already see the lifesteal. His recommended build, the one that he recommends, and his build is Blade of the Ruined King second a lot of the time. Oof. Perfect 2-man knock-up with his first ability. Gets both the Thresh and the Jhin. Now the Jin's gonna get cleaned up as well. Here comes the Aatrox, but there's nothing he can do. So he drops the Grump, but gets a great 2-man knock-up. Rare to see Vi knock up multiple targets with the first ability. He's gonna go base for his Trinity Force. A very good start in this game. Before the first objective spawns, he's already gotten 4 kills and an assist. He's ganked top lane twice, ganked bot lane once, and counter ganked mid lane. very active on the map while still keeping up with his farm. He's gonna immediately go to the dragon. He's gonna prefer the dragon over the herald. Let's see if the enemy team contests or trades. Top lane is being very aggressive. Maybe he should look top lane. I'm surprised he's not moving top lane, but he really wants this dragon. If that was me, I would go clean up top lane and then come back. But Vex is gonna go and clean it up, so that's a 2-for-1 trade. Vayne will go down, but they will get the dual lane. And the enemy team will clean up the herald, but yeah. He actually goes aggressive with the Diana. That was a bit of a weird ult. I don't really think you could have gotten much there, but the cooldown is pretty low. It's only 45-second cooldown ult. So this is a tip for the Jhin and the Thresh. If your jungler is going for the herald, if your jungler is playing away from you, you want to play safer. You don't want to force things and die 2v2 there. Yeah, the enemy's forced to mid now with the herald, but the herald did not kill the turret and the Diana was overextended. He's gonna continue farming, going to use red buff. Garen actually already has his hold breaker. It's gonna be pretty hard to take down even though he's low HP. Great fear from the Vax. But puts him in range for the Vi first ability. She cleans it up. So he's gonna go back to farming, being as efficient as possible in the jungle, and after this he should have enough for Blade of the Rain King if he wants it. But he's actually gonna run mid lane. He does have his ulti now. He's looking for an ult. He's just in range, and the Diana will go down. This guy's playing so efficiently. Every time his ult is up, he's immediately looking for a play, looking for a gank, looking for something. Vayne and Lulu are actually flanking. This could be dangerous. A dangerous high IQ play. Vex will miss her ulti, unfortunately. But they're going for the dive. Vayne gets hooked under turret and she goes down. The 200 IQ play ends up being a disaster. Vice spinning him back, he's fuming. That's a 2-4-0. Might be 3-4-0 if Thresh clutches it. The level up from Vex, but Thresh will still get her. Great play from the enemy dual lane. They will get that 2-4-0 in a 4v2 situation, I guess. If I wasn't really there, more like a 3v2, but still. And Garen will be able to take the bottom tower. So they're actually, even though they're doing well kill-wise, they're 11-8. They're 2 turrets down, and the top lane turret is almost down as well. The enemies have ran a lot of plates. So I'm pretty sure they're behind in gold. He's looking for a play bot lane. His entire team is there. This could be a good fight for them. Jhin's not there. Oh, he misses the flash. The flash first ability, but gets the ulti. Good ulti by the Vex as well. And he will be able to take the lantern to safety. Oh no, Wukong follows. He follows with his third ability and he goes down. Still a good fight, 2-for-1. He's gonna be able to go to the Krugs. He keeps farming. He never stops farming, and this is what high elo junglers do. You never want to stop farming. Whenever you have the chance, whenever there's downtime, you need to be clearing your camps, getting that gold. It's the same as farming minions when you're playing lane, right? You never want to stop. Don't just take the buffs, take every camp you can. Counter jungles, cuddle crabs. That doesn't stop after the early game. You gotta keep farming. He's gonna look for the base now. Let's see what boots he goes for. He goes for the Merc Treads and gets stasis as well. Merc Treads will be very useful against the Thresh. The Jhin CC. Overall a goodbye. And the Herald is spawning in 8 seconds. The Dragon will spawn in about a minute. Let's see how they play this. Of course, Chinese players always group for the objectives. Of course, this is Challenger in China. Garen's a little caught out, but I don't know if they'll have the damage to kill him. He's half HP. Here comes the Lantern, and they've wasted both ultis and not killed the Garen. This is gonna be a hard fight to win now. The Vayne kind of goes in. The backline gets the Jhin. The Diana is not able to clean up, but they do get the Vayne. It's a very messy fight. Vex is gonna go in as well. And the Vi is not gonna be able to stay alive for much longer. Stasis might keep him alive for a little longer. His shield is coming up. He's gonna go down. But yeah, this was a big mistake from him. They overcommitted for the Garen. He was way too tanky. They wasted too much, and then they got caught right after. Bit of a mistake. Vex is kind of prying in the bush. So the enemy team is probably gonna ignore the Herald and go straight for the Dragon. Garen is still bot lane though, so the enemy team is not really gonna be able to do it fast. Maybe they can actually get there in time. Because of course the enemy team lost their ADC, lost their mid laner, their DPS on Dragon is gonna be pretty low. Nope, they will be getting it in time. Wukong is actually TPing for this, maybe they can look for a fight. They have really weird positioning, the Vi is a bit out of the fight. Wukong's gonna go down first, Vex is already down. Gets the ult on Jhin, almost one-shots the Jhin. Oof, he just one-shots the Jhin right in front of the Garen. But his team has lost the fight, that's 4 for 2. Garen uses his ult as a gap closer here, but Vi will be getting out anyway. So even though he's very fat, he's 8-1-4, his team is not playing these fights correctly. Let's see if the Vi can actually carry this game now with this unique Vi build. He has the Trinity Force and the Blade of the Ruined King, and now he's going for the, I'm assuming that's Twin Guard. Ult in 5 seconds, he does not want to make the same mistake of overcommitting for the Garen. He picks up the red buff, keeps clearing his jungle. The next objective is gonna be Baron in 1 minute. If somebody makes a mistake now, that means Baron. And in 3 minutes we'll get the third dragon where the game is usually decided. Unless this drags on to Elder. So this is usually when there's some downtime. Because there's no major objectives up, so there's nothing to contest. You're just clearing waves, you're kind of just warding and making sure that the enemy team doesn't invade and steal your camp, steal your resources. But there isn't that much to do until that third dragon spawns. Teams aren't good enough, aren't strong enough to just get Baron on their own at this point in the game because of how much damage Baron does. So you don't really want to start Baron when everyone's alive in the enemy team. You don't even want to bait it usually. So this is where the most downtime in Wild Rift happens, right before third dragon spawns. What they could do is look to get the outer turrets if possible, however that's not an easy task. They're grouping around this Baron area while Garen is split pushing top lane. So they could look for a 4v5 fight now. They do have Wukong and Vi ults, which is very strong engage. Someone has to defend the Garen. Vex is gonna go base. Wukong is also gonna go base. No, his base gets cancelled. Someone has to defend the Garen. They're just losing. They're losing both farm top lane, but they're also losing turrets top lane, right? The Baron is almost done. He does steal the Baron. He comes in clutch and steals the Baron. And he's gonna be able to pick up 3 kills. Gonna be able to pick up 4 kills. They do lose the inhibitor top lane, but that's a quadra kill for the Vi. Or a triple kill, I think. He didn't get one of those kills. The Garen is so tanky. So this was obviously a massive mistake from the enemy team, but let's analyze what they did wrong here, right? They were guaranteed the split push. There were 5 members around the pit, while Garen was top lane by himself. Can he actually kill the Garen? He's so tanky, but Vi does so much damage with Blade of the Ruined King. They will get the Garen. So the mistake the enemy team made was finishing Baron. Like, you can bait it, you can keep the enemies occupied so Garen can get a free inhib, but don't actually finish it. Don't give them the chance to steal. Why would you go for that 50-50 when you already have the game in the palm of your hands? You're about to get a free inhibitor. So that's the mistake the enemy team made. They did go for the 50-50, and the best Vi in the world steals the Baron. He's gonna keep farming his jungle. Of course, he has 4k gold. He should be looking for a base before the dragon spawns. I hope he does. He's gonna get greedy and get one more camp though. And you don't just want to be there when the objective spawns, right? You want to be there a little bit earlier, set up your vision, deny the enemy vision. It looks like he's gonna be going for Guardian Angel last item, but he does have... He can't buy anything because he does have the anti-heal component, which is very good versus Aatrox. They have Baron, so this dragon should go uncontested. I don't see how the enemy team wins a fight here. Maybe they will look for steal. But this guy's pretty accurate with his smites. Actually, he does get the smite. Aatrox is in the pit. But he will get lanterned out. Garen is again winning the split push. So as long as his team doesn't troll, Garen should be able to take over the game from split pushing. He's gonna go for the Garen now, but obviously you can never kill the Garen. He's too tanky. Let's see what they do next. They do have the 2 dragons versus 1 dragon, but their Baron buff has run out, which was the big advantage. He's gonna be able to finally get his GA. So while he does have a lot of damage, it's up to Vayne to play these team fights correctly. Oh, speaking of Vayne, he's inting the game away. Yeah. At this point in the game, it's really up to your carries to play well, especially the AD carries. Vayne makes a crucial mistake, which is gonna make this game a lot more difficult. All lanes are pushed in, and Vex is slightly caught out. He goes in for the ulti to save the Vex. Lulu ulti, he's so tanky and does so much damage. His GA will get popped, but he still has the stasis. Wukong is in there doing a lot of damage. Great pick onto the enemy carry. That was a great pick on the Jhin, and he lives with a sliver of health. He still has his stasis up. So they win that fight without Vayne. Very well played from the Vi. He's so strong though. 13, 1 and 8. He's really doing his best to carry his team this game. So yeah, after these Vi buffs come through, he's gonna be even stronger. They're gonna go for the Baron. Yeah, this is a TP from Wukong. They're all running to it. And this is gonna be a 17-18 minute Baron. If you guys don't know, the later you get the Baron, the stronger the stats that you will get. So an 18-minute Baron is very strong. The inhibitor is going to be respawning soon. They can definitely use this Baron to, I don't know about closing out the game, but definitely grab a few turrets. He's almost full build. I think can afford his final item. So he's going to get red buff. Look to base. Finish up his Thorn Mail. He sells the Guardian Angel. I mean, that does make sense. He goes for the Sterex. So when you're full build, right, and your Guardian Angel goes on cooldown, you can sell it, get Sterex, get another defensive item. And when your Guardian Angel cooldown is done, which you can see next to his Baron buff, next to his Trinity Force, next to his Dragon buffs and stuff. Once it comes off cooldown, you can buy it again and then you'll have it. Because you only really buy Guardian Angel for the passive, and the stats it gives you are pretty bad. So they're kind of grouping mid here. Ideally, you want to be pushing at least 2 lanes out. Wukong is going to go push bot lane now. But this is a very slow siege. They kind of ruined their tempo by not really basing at the same time. He was doing red buff and stuff and getting items. So, oh, they're actually catching out the Garen. Oof, he's doing a lot of damage. Slowly, but doing a lot of damage. And the Garen is called out. He's not going to be able to get the lantern. Big mistake from the Garen there. Let's see if they can actually utilize the rest of this Baron buff. They only have about 30 seconds left on it. The Vi is looking to force something. If they waste this Baron buff, it's all going to come down to an Elder fight. It's so hard to siege when you have low cooldown ADC like Vayne. You don't really have any zone control. The enemies can just walk up and clear the wave. Vex is gonna go in and assassinate the Jhin. Very well played from the Vex. The ulti goes down. Oh, a bit of stream lag, but here we go. Gets the stasis out, avoids all the damage. And they're cleaning it up, and that will be it. He's managed to carry this game with a beautiful Baron Steel, a good 4-5 team fight. This is the top 1 Vi in the world. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like. If you want more, comment below. And subscribe for more Wild Rift content.